We got Matt coming in. I don't know if people know Matt, but he's working on a lot of the Big Finish games that's coming out, and by that I'm talking Tex Murphy. So let's see. Oh, look at that! I love the background, man. Digging it. How's it going, Matt?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm getting a little bit fatter since the last time we talked, but doing good nonetheless.
It's the webcams, man. They're all terrible quality.
It's COVID. I need to lose another 8 to 10 pounds. So I really want to talk about what's going on with the Pandora Directive. First, let's say hi to Glow Kid, huge streamer, awesome Monkey Island fan. And a fan of adventure games, and has a nice following. We were happy to have you on to help us host the show.
Yes, welcome.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you for saying huge streamer. We typically keep ATM. ATM is always my partner in the streams and whatnot, and we tend to try to keep it a little bit smaller streams. We can't help it. Occasionally, the streams get retweeted and those ones blow up, and we're used to the slower ones, so it can get a little bit ahead of us, but it's all really fun. We just love playing the games with people. So
retweet this stream. Tell them we got Matt in here. We're going to talk about some Tex Murphy. So let's see that one blow up. Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself and the project that you work on.
Sure. So I came on board, joined Chris Jones, Aaron Connors, Adrian Carr, and the Tex Murphy veterans. Can't forget Doug Vandergrift as well, who, of course, made the Tex Murphy series. And I came on board during the Tesla Effect campaign as one of their visual effects artists, and then have become basically ingested into the Tex Murphy universe and have been officially their series archivist, which is why the topic of remasters has come on to the slate as of late. And the project we are currently working on is a complete 4K HFR remaster of the Pandora Directive, because we managed to find every single, we're not Sierra, so we found our tapes. Oh, I just said that. We managed to find all of the tapes from the original shoot from the Pandora Directive, which took many months to do, and are in the process of using machine learning as well as very intense deinterlacing and upscaling techniques to ensure that it'll basically look like, the video will look like it was shot yesterday. And if you've seen some of the stuff we've published online, that's not hyperbole. We're pretty confident it's going to look great.
Impressive.
I thought you were about to say that you actually found the Under the Killing Moon pieces that you've been missing. I thought that's what you said.
Well, it was digitized. That's the thing. We digitized it when we had our own equipment. So Under a Killing Moon did manage to get through the archive phase. However, when we finally got access to some really bee's knees hardware to ingest it in a much higher quality, Under a Killing Moon tapes went the way of the dodo, and I'm still very miffed about that. It was like they were stored away in a box with big writing along the side that says, Under a Killing Moon, this is Tex Murphy's legacy. Don't do anything with these tapes. And I come back and the warehouse crew's like, I don't know, man, maybe they were trashed. And I'm just like, oh, man. There's a story there. But, yeah, I'm not ruling Under a Killing Moon out, but Pandora Directive is definitely more friendly to this remastering treatment we're doing at the moment.
Whereabouts in the process would you say you are at this day? I know it's an extremely time-consuming process.
Of course.
Where would you say you are?
I would still consider it in the sort of pre-production stage at the moment. When I say that, we do have multiple people working on the bits and pieces. Now, what's interesting about the Tex Murphy universe is Chris Jones is a person that wears many hats, not just a fedora, but many other hats. And so there's two sides of the business that he runs. There's the sports simulation side, which is the sort of businessman side of that, and that's what keeps everyone employed. And then there's the passion side, which is, of course, always going to be Tex Murphy. And the sides of the business tend to ebb and flow depending on what the demand is. And so when there's more ebb and flow towards the sports side of the business, it's all hands on deck helping that out. And so we tend to sort of go with that flow there. But that said, Doug has been building these levels. I've continued the process of AI upscaling, and Adrian, all the way from LA, has been recutting all the videos together. And I believe he is close to being done with his recuts, or what I'd call director's cuts, of the new Pandora Directive cinematics. He's using new camera angles, new takes. Basically, he's not adhering to any of the limitations that he faced when he was cutting together the Pandora Directive, because it was a remote paper edit, and that means he would watch it and note time codes down on note paper and fax those back to Big Finish Games or Access Software at the time, and they would then copy edit those into the computer, and that's how the edit of the Pandora happened. Now, thanks to non-linear editing, Adrian's like a kid in a candy store. So he just texted me a short while ago and he said, man, this edit's basically done, man. It looks great. And so why I say we're in pre-production, all the wheels are in motion, but there isn't the cohesive go yet. It's all pulling all the things together.
So you're
what will it take for that go to happen?
What it will take for that go to happen? Basically just scheduling, finding out the budget as well as the time dedication as well. Because as I said, when we're on the sports simulation side of the business, that's the Truth Golf side of the business, because that's essentially the side of the business that really bring home the bacon and keeps the employees staffed and everything, we do need to prioritize that first and foremost. But I am happy to sort of keep making things available to people who want to know that the Pandora Directive is still happening. But one thing I will say to fans, because as with any project, I mean, you know, I was a Kickstarter backer to Space Venture too, so I know what it's like to be a fan who wants something to get released so badly. The reality of this situation is, unless any of us specifically say the project is not happening, assume it will be happening, and we apologize we're not regularly updating, but know that it's passionate to our hearts as well, and we will dedicate our time to it as time is allowed.
And you coming on, that's an update, letting people know that, hey, we didn't forget. You know, like, we're all very, very excited. Anybody who is an adventure game fan is a fan of Tex Murphy and definitely a fan of Pandora Directive. So yes. I think I'll meme you and say, take my money.
And once again, we want to be able to gladly accept it only when, though, we can promise that our ducks are in a row, essentially. Like, I'd hate to be at that stage where, you know, we put ourselves and you guys on the hook as well. We want to make sure that we have that ebb and flow sorted out before we start talking about that kind of commitment.
So, kind of bringing Glow Kid into the discussion a little bit here. So, when Return to Monkey Island was released, there was this awesome video of him just going crazy, happy. Same thing. When you say this is the date that Pandora Directive is coming out, completely remastered with a whole new or an updated score and nice visuals or something, I'm gonna make a video like Glow Kid did, running around being so excited over that.
That is awesome, and thank you. I saw the streamer and me always watches the chat at the same time. I saw my partner ATM say that Tex Murphy's a little bit. I will admit I haven't really, but I started looking into it because of I knew we were going to have this conversation tonight, and I'm super interested because it ticks so many boxes for me. So I'm really, really looking forward to doing that, and we'll probably end up throwing that into our streams as well. So I look forward to seeing where we come from, especially knowing that you have such an enthusiasm about the IP itself, like the story that you're telling. That's super cool. That's super cool, and always something to be celebrated when we get to start working in the worlds that we love and whatnot. That's really, really awesome, and I can't wait to check it out more because I am definitely into the material.
It would be an honor to see it on your stream, to be brutally honest with you.
Well,
and
you know, thank you.
Throw in some of that narrative voice as well, but you may have to compete with James Earl Jones because he's in the game as well. So
yeah, no, I did see that. I started watching little bits of the game, and I saw, wow, this cast is holy, and just kept on getting quite impressed every time I popped on a clip. So I'm really looking forward. I didn't want to get too far into it because you want to have the whole experience. That's one of the things I like about streaming these is for example, we just did Gabriel Knight not too long ago. Well, I guess we actually just did Gabriel Knight 2 not too long ago. And it was the first time I ever played any of the Gabriel Knight games. and that was a really good experience, and I really like the characters. And my last name is Yeager, so I sort of like the whole Schattenjäger thing too. I don't know, occasionally vain. I mean, I do make video content, so possibly a requirement, I'm not sure, but yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm definitely grateful for it. It's different to start interacting with somebody from a different aspect too, as well. So I will definitely have to follow these projects on Twitter as much as I have everything else lately. This is really cool, and today's been really cool. Just watching everybody come on and talk about adventure games. I don't want to get too far away from the topic itself. I can talk and talk if I had to let myself. That's
You're gonna have another chance.
Another requirement of streaming, I guess, is just gotta keep on talking most of the time. But the benefit is I also stream, like, I'm playing point and click adventures, and those are, dialogue heavy. So I gotta let this person finish talking and not, overwrite the story.
Well, you definitely have the right voice for it, as we were discussing earlier in the green room.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I was going to say, Glowkid kind of mentioned this a little bit, how it's really great to be able to eventually do what you love for a profession. And that seems to be what you have done to, like, the American dream level, Matt. You loved the games, and now all of a sudden you went from playing the guy with the fedora and the trench coat to talking to the guy with the fedora and the trench coat. We have a few minutes here. Can you give us a little bit of what it's like to be you?
Yeah, so that's a fascinating story. So as you already alluded to, I started playing Tex Murphy when I was 9 years old. And I was so excited. So I had a brother who was 4 years older than me, and he was really into video games. And he comes running home from school one day, and he's like, Matt, there's this really good game. It's got like actors in it, and they're like filmed. It's like a movie, and it's on the PC. This was like the first time I'd ever heard of FMV. And I'm like, that sounds like the best thing ever. And like, meanwhile, the industry's like, But anyway, the point of the matter is, we were so excited to play this game. We ran to the computer store and bought Under a Killing Moon, took it home, and it's like, oh, we need a computer to play this. Huh. So we didn't even have the machine to play it on. So we eventually said to our parents, Mom, Dad, we need a computer for schoolwork. Yeah, schoolwork. It needs to be, looking at the back of the box, at least a 486, IBM compatible. Yeah. And so eventually we ended up playing the game. And so fast forward a little bit, I became a member of the Tex Murphy community, forums, bulletin boards, all those kind of things. And all of a sudden they have a Kickstarter for Tesla Effect. And the whole reason I got into visual effects and video editing and digital production in college was the fact that, I was into Tex Murphy and full motion video. And so when they said they were doing the Kickstarter, I said, can I show you guys my reel? Because you guys are the whole reason I got into this in the first place. And they saw my reel, and I'll never forget the email they sent back. They said, how soon can you get here? And lo and behold, fast forward 6 months, I'm in Salt Lake City working on Tex Murphy as an employee, and then eventually am brought on full-time to work for Tex Murphy. And literally, when you said playing the guy in the fedora, going to working with the guy in fedora, the very first time I met Chris Jones, they were shooting, so I didn't want to interrupt. They were shooting Tesla Effect in the green screen studio, and I had already started working on some visual effects and editing. So I was sitting with Adrian Carr, and Adrian wanted me to show him some stuff. And I didn't notice this, but Chris Jones, for 5 minutes, was hunched over my shoulder here watching, and he was in the full Tex Murphy getup, the fedora, the trench coat, and everything. And then that typical Chris Jones voice, he goes, wow, that looks great. And I'm like, holy shit! I got the crap scared out of me by Tex Murphy, and I'm just like, oh, it's Tex Murphy!
Did Tex's breath smell like liquor and
like cigarettes? I reckon in my memory, in mind's eye, the Mandela effect probably meant it smelled like bourbon and cigarettes. But it was fantastic experience. So yeah, it was like living the dream, going from a player to actually working on the franchise and now being heavily involved in, hopefully the resurrection and future.
and I see it happening. And we really appreciate you coming on, reminiscing a little bit, talking about Tex Murphy. Can't wait to see the game. And in the meantime, Matt, love you in a weird way, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you guys as well. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to meet you all, Glow Kid, as well. Looking forward to watching your streams and checking them out.
Thank you for coming and joining us. And I can't wait to stream some Tex Murphy. We're going to go through the series, I do believe, and then we will. I will tag you on Twitter when we do. Absolutely.
That sounds fantastic. And Jack as well. Good luck with everything, and thank you for having me on, all of you.
Appreciate it.